So let's talk about the process of digestion. Digestion is where we do a couple of steps, and really our goal is to suck off as much nutrients and vitamins and things like that that we could from food, and then anything that we can't use, we're going to defecate out. So ingestion is food that's taken into the GI tract. There's two different types of propulsion. There's going to be an involuntary and voluntary one. The propulsion is just going to be moving food through that 30-foot long GI tract. And we're going to swallow food, which is voluntary. As soon as you're done, you're going to do peristalsis, which is involuntary, and that's going to take it from basically the esophagus all the way down to eventually your colon. Slowly. There's going to be different types. There's going to be mechanical breakdown, which is the physical breakdown of food, and that's going to be done through chewing, which is really a small component of this whole process. We're going to have saliva come in. The stomach churning, food sitting in your stomach and spinning and moving around for 4 hours, that's definitely going to turn it into this pulpy material called chyme. And that chyme is then going to go into the small intestines. And that's going to use that segmentation to sort of, again, use some mechanical mechanisms to still move the food around till eventually it breaks down. We can also go ahead and use all these things for chemical breakdown, because in chewing we're going to use saliva, and that has a chemical in it that's designed to moisten food. There's lysozymes in there to kill off any bacteria or pathogens right there. And then of course we have amylase, which is designed to break large sugars down, so large starches down to smaller sugars. Stomach churning, that's going to be done in acids, and there's going to be a couple of chemicals made like pepsin, and that's going to help break down, that's an enzyme, and that's going to help break down large proteins into smaller proteins. And then of course in the small intestines there's tons of enzymes, which we'll go over soon. Digestion is going to be just catabolism. Remember, anabolism means building things up. Catabolism means breaking things down, and this is going to be primarily done with enzymes and a couple of other chemicals, but really enzymes are the star of the show, and they're going to do that hydrolysis to break things down. Absorption is where we're going to go ahead and take the food and move it, or the items that we've decided we needed, vitamins, sugars, fats, you name it. We're going to go ahead and dump it into the bloodstream, and your body will go ahead and deal with it. The only thing we don't dump into the bloodstream is going to be fats, where we're going to dump that into the lymphatic system. And of course, at the end, we're going to absorb as much water as we can, we're going to absorb as much nutrients as we can, but anything that we can't use, we're going to defecate out. Plant material is very hard to break down, so that's one of the things that will kind of go from start to finish. There'll be some breakdown there, but not a lot, where things like carbs can be completely broken down, because they're basically just a big stick of sugar. If we look at what happens through this process, we're going to talk about larger things turning into smaller things. So we turn proteins into amino acids, polysaccharides into monosaccharides, lipids into fatty acids, and nucleic acids into nucleotides. And then we're going to take these components, and the cell will rebuild them into these things. So the cell will build these amino acids into proteins that it needs. It's going to take these monosaccharides and turn them into polysaccharides that they need. It's going to take the fatty acid and turn them into lipids, like that lipid bilayer. It's going to take the nucleotides that you absorb from food and turn it into your nucleotides. So we're going to kind of do the whole recycling thing going on here. Cool.